Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 130. I'm John Cooney, here to talk to you about comics released the 16th of July, 2014, beginning as usual with my first 5, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them, starting with at number 1, Uncanny X-Men number 23. Charles Xavier's last will and testament is discovered, but is something concealed within the pages that might be the X-Men's ultimate undoing? Series writer Brian Michael Bendis explained what we'll find in the will. Quote, "The will is literally a list of things that Xavier needs to have taken care of in the event of his death. Some things the students will be familiar with, and other things they will not be." Close quote. He went on to express the impact it will have. Quote, "What the storyline promises is such a shakeup with such bombs being dropped all over the place that the entire franchise will be affected, and it's hard to imagine it ever being able to go back to the way things were." Close quote. At number 2, we have all-new X-Factor number 11 with the same solicit as number 10. X-Factor brings big trouble to Serval Industries, heavily armed trouble. Gambit's indiscretion is found out. Nobody is happy. Series writer Peter David just launched Spider-Man 2099 last week. Given the corporate structure of Alchemex in that book, he suggested a potential for the books to converge. Quote, "I certainly wouldn't rule out a Spidey X-Factor crossover as Serval and Alchemex wind up going head-to-head." Close quote. Perhaps that's the crossover David referred to in a previous interview in April when he said, quote, "We are going to be involved in an upcoming crossover which starts in November, I think. Can't go into much more detail than that." Close quote. Otherwise, David says you can expect to see Serval becoming more and more integrated in the Marvel Universe. Quote, "The appearance of Serval elsewhere is entirely the doing of Mighty Marvel's editors. They think it's great to try and tuck it in wherever they can, and I'm all for that. This is a shared universe after all, and anything they want to do to help spread it elsewhere is fine by me." Close quote. At number 3, we've got X-Men number 16. The future has come calling, and he wants his son Shogo back. But will Jubilee and the X-Men let their bouncing baby boy go without a fight? Spoiler alert, hell no. Series writer Brian Wood wraps up his run on X-Men next issue and has this to say about his closing story. Quote, "Number 13 through 17 is the arc, my final one, and it's a couple of things. It deals with the horrific threat directed at Shogo and Jubilee, and by extension the whole mutant community. The X-Men have their share of villains, but this is more of a terrorist than a costume baddie, a sadist who uses fear and violence to get what he wants. There was always going to have to be an other shoe to Jubilee adopting Shogo, something that would come back on her for that, and it's this. It's also my end cap to a long-running storyline, one that began with X-Men number 1 and will conclude with number 17. My goal was always to write a true ongoing, one where each arc had something to do with the arcs around it, building on each other. This is why Archaea is referenced, why Battle of the Atom is referenced, and so on. And while I have no idea what any future writers are going to do with the series or these characters, I'm at least wrapping up the Shogo storyline myself, which I'm happy about. I hope he sticks around, but if not, I'm satisfied with his 17-issue lifespan." Close quote. At number 4, we've got Robin Rises Omega number 1 one-shot. The hunt for Robin is over and the battle joined, but Batman's family feud with Ra's al Ghul is about to erupt into something bigger when it's interrupted by the forces of Apocalypse. This epic story continues in this month's Batman and Robin number 33. Writer Peter J. Tomasi explained Bruce's motivation through the Hunt for Robin arc. Quote, "He just wants to put the soul of his son at peace, and he can be at peace too, as long as he knows his son is buried and not being used for nefarious reasons by his grandfather." Close quote. However, the conclusion of Batman and Robin number 32, which leads into Robin Rises Omega, changes all that, Tomasi says. Quote, "This was a determined effort to really put Batman in a scenario he's not as comfortable and familiar with, and get him off the mean streets of Gotham and put him into a situation we usually don't see him in unless it's in the pages of Justice League." Close quote. At number 5, we've got She-Hulk number 6. Last issue, someone important to She-Hulk was killed, and she won't let it stand. But the mysterious Blue File turns friend into foe. Who can she trust? Charles Soule and Ron Wimberly continues the all-new Marvel Now hit everyone's talking about. Series writer Charles Soule shared more about a puzzling Blue File. Quote, "The Blue File meta-story doesn't actually have much as far as courtroom stuff. It's more about the case that happened a while back, or almost happened. It's almost more of a detective story where we learn what happened in that case, why Jen and the other heroes and villains named in the case, people like Wyatt Wingfoot, Tigra, Shocker, and many more, can't remember anything about it. It's pretty cool, sort of meta in a way, which is something I like to do as long as it doesn't get in the way of the story, close quote. He went on to say, quote, I think Jen has trouble sitting around. She doesn't like to be inactive, and the blue file will let her stretch her muscles, both physical and mental. We'll learn much more about it in issue 5 and even more about it in issue 6. We won't get answers to all the questions, but it'll really cue things up for the second half of the story as it runs through what I like to call the back 6, issues number 7 through 12, close quote. Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we've got Elektra number 4. After escaping the ruins of Xixing, Elektra corners the elusive Cape Crow at the edge of the world where she must finally decide his fate. Will the deadliest assassin in the Marvel Universe defeat Cape Crow and collect the biggest bounty of her career, or help the hardened killer and his son escape the psychotic assassin Bloody Lips? At number 7, we have Nova number 19, Original Sin tie-in. Original Sin presents a pair of mysteries. Was Nova's father a murderer? What is the secret origin of the Black Novas? As Sam grieves for the Watcher, he turns to a friend for help, Rocket Raccoon. At number 8, we have Silver Surfer number 4. In order to return alien abductee Dawn Greenwood home, the Surfer must travel to the one place in the galaxy he dreads the most, planet Earth, and what should be a quick drop-off turns into a very strange adventure, featuring Doctor Strange, the Incredible Hulk, and some surprise guest stars, including those movie stars on the cover. At number 9, we've got Ms. Marvel number 6. On the run from the Inventor, Kamala needs all the help she can get. Did someone say Wolverine? And at number 10, we've got Magneto number 7. Magneto's on a one-man mission to safeguard the future of mutant kind by any means necessary. So far, he's done so by eliminating human threats. But what happens when it's mutants who pose a threat to their own species? Will Magneto cross a line and raise his hand to his own kind? And if so, just how far will he go? For the best of the rest from DC Comics, we've got Batman Eternal number 15. Who is behind the hell beneath Arkham Asylum? Can Batwing and Jim Corrigan hope to stop it before it breaks out and consumes all of Gotham City? Next, we have Harley Quinn Invades Comic-Con International San Diego number 1 one-shot. The title says it all. Our favorite little troublemaker, Harley Quinn, takes on Comic-Con International San Diego in this over-the-top issue. She'll have to battle long lines, crazy crowds, and the dread con crud, all in a quest to get her own comic book published. We've also got Red Hood and the Outlaws number 33. As more of Starfire's life after her captivity as a slave is revealed, Red Hood and Arsenal stand between their alien teammate and one of the most wanted men in the galaxy. And we've got Teen Titans number 1. Red Robin, Wonder Girl, Raven, Bunker, and Beast Boy step out of the shadows of the adult heroes of the DC Universe to offer bold, exciting, and sometimes dangerous ideas on how to protect a world full of superpowered teenagers, any one of whom could be the next heroic figure or major villain. From Marvel Comics, we've got 100th Anniversary Special X-Men number 1. Have the X-Men of 2061 achieved Xavier's dream of mutants and humans living in harmony, or will there always be a need for the X-Men? Next, we have Avengers World number 9. Cannonball and Sunspot have 24 hours in the future to find the help the Avengers need. They're just going to stop for a drink first. We've also got Original Sin number 3.2 with the familiar solicit, Everybody Has One. And we've got Original Sin number 6 of 8 with the frustrating solicit, Classified. Next, we have Savage Hulk number 2. While Hulk and Abomination have the clash of the century, the X-Men do the Monster Mash. And Professor X plans to terminate the Hulk? And we've got Ultimate FF number 4, Sue Storm, Iron Man, Falcon, together with make the strangest team of all. Trapped outside the universe, an old friend returns to help. The secret origin of revealed, something unimaginable comes through the rift. From Valiant Entertainment, we've got Harbinger number 25, a massive 48-page anniversary spectacular featuring Joshua Dysart, Carrie Evans, Barry Kitson, Justin Jordan, Riley Rosmo, and many more. Toyo Harada's Last Stand, the future of Harbinger, starts here with the star-studded 48-page anniversary milestone packed with brand new contributions from an all-star cast of creators and shocking new revelations about the fate of Valiant's teenage super team. A renegade has fallen, and now there's no turning back. Stripped of his allies and all sense of self-preservation, the world's most powerful Harbinger, superpowered billionaire Toyo Harada, is about to inflict a terrible reckoning on the world he thought he could control, and everything we thought we knew will be forever changed in its wake. And we've got Unity number 9, time to bring in Bloodshot. The unrelenting force that is the Armor Hunters has wreaked havoc across planet Earth, cutting a swath of terror and destruction in their wake. Now the last best chance at standing against the calculating wrath of the Hunters comes in the form of Unity, Livewire, Ninjak, the Eternal Warrior, and their newest recruit, Bloodshot. But can they stop the Galactic Warriors before they capture Exo Manowar and destroy Earth? Out in trades this week, we've got Black Widow Volume 1, the finely woven thread trade paperback. Black Widow is an Avenger and an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but on her own time she searches for atonement for her past as a KGB assassin in ways those teams just wouldn't approve of. The Widow goes undercover in Russia, but from its cold streets the hand of God reaches out to crush her, and it's as merciless as its name. Outmatched by the brute force of this powerful new villain, Natasha discovers a deadly plot that spans the entire globe. Paris, London, Montenegro, Natasha is in a race against time with nowhere to turn for answers. Black Widow's strength and cunning will be put to the test as she follows the trail of blood and destruction to the beginning, but can she locate the entity behind the attacks? Collecting Black Widow number 1 through 6 and material from All New Marvel Now .1 number 1. And from Image, we've got Alex plus Ada trade paperback volume 1. From Jonathan Luna of Girls, The Sword, Ultra, and Spider-Woman Origin, and Sarah Vaughn of Spark Shooter, comes Alex plus Ada, a sci-fi drama set in the near future. The last thing in the world Alex wanted was an X5, the latest in realistic androids, but after Ada is dropped into his life, he discovers she's more than just a robot. Collects Alex plus Ada number 1 through 5. Okay, so that's just a few of my favorite books out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video for all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers, and you can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. And we'll also have links up on the leagueofnerds.com, our Facebook page, so be sure to like us there too. And of course, you can follow everything I'm reading on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, or Twitter. You can find links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.